Just doing some setup stuff before I actually get into talking. It's a lot for me to talk about in this particular episode, so I'm glad to actually be able to do this. It's been a rough couple weeks. All right, so now that that's all out of the way, let's do the thing, shall we? First things first. Coffee. So I'll be honest with you, this live stream serves a couple purposes. First purpose is to discuss what is the most important thing happening this weekend, and that, of course, is WrestleMania. The shirt says everything comes back to wrestling, and there's nothing in wrestling more important than WrestleMania weekend. Don't believe me? Find the biggest pay-per-view for every other wrestling organization. Say maybe not New Japan Pro. We'll say every organization here in the United States. How many times does a company like the WWE post events nearby their top event? For example, TNA has Bound for Glory. When's the last time you saw a Bound for Glory episode of Raw that was right around the corner that same weekend? I don't remember it. No, you don't either. It didn't happen. Same thing about Double or Nothing. Didn't happen. How do I know it didn't happen? Because it hasn't. It just hasn't. But there's a lot of promotions that are doing something in Philadelphia right now. Why? WrestleMania is in Philadelphia right now. Well, technically tonight. WrestleMania weekend starts tonight. Great idea. That was a great idea. Shout out to my friend Heather Parker, because Heather Parker Giles. No disrespect to her husband Adam, but I've known her as Heather Parker for 20-something years, and they get married, and I have a hard time not just calling her Parker, to be honest. But he and I talked. We're cool on it. Anyway, she was talking about getting coffee. I'm like, coffee is like the best idea I could have right now. And it was. It was absolutely the best idea. Let me turn this phone off. The last thing I need is a random phone call during a live stream. So, it's WrestleMania weekend because it's happening eventually. And there's nothing more important to a wrestling fan than WrestleMania weekend. If you follow the podcast, Moon Equals Wrestling, then you already know that a couple of days ago I gave my predictions on who's going to win every single announced WrestleMania match. It's in here somewhere. There are 13 matches over 2 nights for WrestleMania, and that is my predictions on who's going to win all of them. Not everything is as cut and dry as this guy, that guy, this guy, this guy. So you'll have to watch that episode. You can also see that here on YouTube. and where you get your podcast and such. Yeah, I'm not going to go over here and then make you not watch or listen to the podcast. Why would I do that? But if you did watch the podcast, then you'd see I have this dope shirt because I love that shirt because my shirt is cool. Hey, Sako. Now, the girl in my comments right now, that's Sako Humi. She and I will do a podcast later today, 2 p.m., called Sako and the Moon. If you haven't been watching Sako and the Moon, you absolutely should. I can technically say she's my co-host, but let's be very honest with ourselves. I'm her co-host. She's a wealth of knowledge. She's got so much experience in the world of creativity and graphic arts and the sort. She's wonderful to talk to. I'm basically just there so she's not talking to herself. That's basically my role in the whole thing. And what's super unfortunate for everyone is that she was supposed to be on the Star Chamber podcast Wednesday night, and because of some technical issues that are way out of the hands of the promotion of the show, like the host couldn't do anything about it. The host's hands were tied the whole time, and we weren't able to get the Sako interview that we've been waiting for. And I don't know if Sako noticed, but there was a full chat room, almost about twice as full as it normally is, because everybody wanted to hear from Sako. If that doesn't tell you how important it is to be following this woman, that's it. That's the clue right there. So shout out to Sako. I love you, chick. Back to Mania. So WrestleMania weekend is more than just the event. There's a lot happening between today and Monday. So much wrestling. It's almost kind of sickening. Tonight should be on Fox, 8 p.m. SmackDown. It's the last regular show before the WrestleMania pay-per-view premium live event to set up the matches and to do the things. So my predictions are based on everything prior to tonight, obviously, because I've already recorded it. Immediately following SmackDown is the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, where Paul Heyman gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. Say what you want to about Paul Heyman. He has been a great addition to professional wrestling over the decades. I'm happy to see him go in. I think it's incredibly well-deserved, despite the character he plays on TV. Tomorrow, Saturday, we have NXT Stand and Deliver. NXT is the WWE's third brand, and we call it developmental, but I think that's unfair. I think it's legitimately a third brand, and it should be respected as such. Their WrestleMania level event is Saturday early afternoon. I think the pre-show starts around noon. I think the show starts around noon or 1 o'clock. And you can watch Stand and Deliver. That's going to have a lot of great matches on it. The one I'm looking forward to is the NXT Championship match between Ilya Dragunov and Tony D'Angelo. And I tell you that if you are not paying attention, if you don't know who Ilya Dragunov is, you've been missing out. He's had two classics with Walter. That's Gunther now. But If you haven't been following Ilya Dragunov, that's a must. You need to do that immediately. In fact, when this stream is over, go on YouTube or go on Peacock and find Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. Find the first one, and you'll understand why people love professional wrestling. That match by itself is why people love pro wrestling. Saturday evening, you get the first night of WrestleMania. Saturday evening, you get the first night of WrestleMania, and it's basically half that big long card that you saw me post. I don't know the match order, so I don't know exactly what matches are going to be Saturday versus Sunday, but write down the card, and whatever match you see on Saturday, the other ones will be on Sunday. That's the best you got. I do know that the main event will be a tag team match between Cody and Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, versus the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns and The Rock. Yes, that Rock. And here's the thing. There are so many people like my sons and my mother-in-law who are new wrestling fans, and they're seeing The Rock for the first time, and they know that The Rock is like that guy, but they don't know why he's that guy. If you're in that position, go back and watch wrestling on Peacock from like 2000. Just play SmackDown week after week. 2001, leading up to WrestleMania 17, is what I'm doing now, and it's a blast from the past. It's a great time to see what wrestling was like at that point. I will tell you, some of the storylines don't hit the way they used to. A lot of them they'll make you cringe, and you can't look at 2001 with 2024 lenses. I'll just say that. Either way it goes, we're leading up to the main event, Cody versus Roman Reigns, where I believe the 3.5, nearly 4-year title reign of Roman Reigns should come to an end. I've discussed this in mass. I think it's pretty clear why that should happen now. Let's just hope that it does. But like I said, the podcast from Moon Equals Wrestling is available. If you're watching this on YouTube, on this channel is the episode. You'll see the green graphic. And if you get podcasts on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, maybe a couple other places, you can find the podcast there. I don't use all those platforms, so I'm not really sure where I am and where I am not. So, you tell me where I am. See if I can adjust this light a little bit. It's really bright on my face. Everything's connected. I can control the light from my phone. That's great. And then, of course, I got to get into where I've been the last couple of weeks. That feels better. Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's nice. Cool. Live TV, people. Live TV. Oh, speaking of going live, not only do me and Sako go live approximately every Friday around 2 p.m., but another great book talker that I follow and you should follow also, Sandy Linder. Find her at Sandy Says Read. She's starting to do live broadcast as well. She just did a live interview with Steven Zimmer, one of the founders of the Imaginarium Convention. I go every year now. It's a must. I call it my WrestleMania because I'm a writer. I do refer to it as Writer Mania. So if you ever see me refer to something called Writer Mania, that's Imaginarium. It takes place in Louisville, Kentucky. It takes place in July. Enter theimaginarium.com. You can get your tickets to that. You'll see me. I'll be talking all kinds of stupid shit. And quite likely, if possible, I'll do some interviews for either the Moon Unscathed or Moon Equals Wrestling. I'm sure me and Sako are both going to be there at the same time, a live Socko on the Moon will probably take place that day or that evening. Who knows? It's going to be a grand old time. Now to the not fun stuff. There's not a hint to turn away. It's just honest. To the not fun stuff. There was no episode of Socko on the Moon last week because I wasn't feeling good. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday prior. I spent most of the day going to the doctor's office or being in the ER or being practically unconscious. I wasn't knocked out, I was asleep. I was dealing with some really, really bad headaches. I got really, really dizzy, lightheaded, about passed out. My son found me, and it was a very, very scary day. My heart was beating really crazy. My arms felt really strange. I literally thought I was having a heart attack. Went to the doctor. They said the EKG was abnormal. And so I went to the emergency room. They cleared me, and that this still hasn't really set well with me because there's just so many questions not unanswered. I feel like we've got a lot of answers on my own, but I haven't had a chance to get into my actual doctor to get the real answers yet. The appointment has been made. I'm just kind of waiting for time to catch up. And yeah, really scary moment, for being completely honest with everyone. It's one of those sobering moments where you feel absolutely helpless. And you realize, like, you're confronted with your mortality. Like, even if your life's not in danger, but you're scared that it is, you're confronted by your own mortality. You realize how quickly things can change. One night you're out with your friends having a grand old time. One night you're hanging out with your kids. One night you're having the literal best night of your absolute life, and the following day it could all go away. There was a man I knew named Stacy Walker. Great guy. Funny as hell. Like, you walked into a bar, to a party, and you saw Stacy there, you knew you're about to be entertained. You're going to spend most of the night laughing. Goofy shit's going to be said and done. And you're going to walk away having a great night. He just did that for people. And this isn't that, like, post-life, like, hyperbole. Like, it genuinely was like that with him around. And I remember being home that night. I didn't go out. My friends did. And I saw pictures earlier in the evening of my friends having a good time. Here's what happened. My friends are over here at this establishment when a bunch of bikers come in, and the bar didn't want anyone wearing their biker colors. It's just one of those things. They had a rule, no colors. The biker group didn't care. No respect for the establishment. One of my buddies tried to have like a conversation with them on behalf of the bar, and it didn't go well. So there was a huge fight. So there was a huge fight over here. Simultaneously over here, my friend Stacy's at a whole different establishment. And there was like a taco truck across the street. Right? So they crossed the street, him and a few others crossed the street to go to this taco truck. And, which, by the way, taco trucks outside bars the greatest thing in the world. If your bar doesn't sell food, please contact the taco truck or some food truck to be outside your bar. When I'm drinking, I want to eat. Public service announcement. Anyway, someone who was under the influence was driving nearby, lost control of his vehicle, and crashed into like 5 people outside the taco truck. I went to bed, and all my friends were perfectly fine. I woke up to figure out that some of my friends got into a really crazy fight all of a sudden, and it could have gotten really, really bad very quickly. It almost did. And then after checking on them, I found out that to zero fault of his own, my friend Stacy had passed away. He'd been killed by this impaired driver. I'm reminded of that story because last week I was reminded of my own mortality. And it's just one of those things, especially as a father and as a husband, as a friend, as a creative. I am reminded of my mortality. And I'm realizing how quickly all of this can go. It can be taken away that quick. So as a person, I'm reminded to take care of myself. My friends have been checking on me throughout the weeks. I haven't told a lot of people. This is kind of like the grand announcement that, I had to scare. But, the few people who did know, they've been checking on me. They've been amazing friends. And this is my reminder to you, twofold. One, take care of yourself. Some of the people I know are really young and they have reckless abandon. And I remember also being young and having reckless abandon and just not caring about what tomorrow brought because I felt immortal. I felt like time was just going to keep on going and my last day is so far in the future. And I wish that was true. So take care of yourself. Starting now, eat better. I mean, eat what you like because food is great, but eat better. Take a walk. Have water. Pick a day and just have water that day. Enjoy tea. Learn how great steak and salad is. I had that last night for dinner. Damn delicious. I bought some small steaks, which is the other thing that's happening over there in the kitchen. I had some steaks and I got a little thing of salad and had steak and salad for dinner last night. It was great. Fantastic. So take care of yourself. And 2, do the thing. Just do the thing. If you want to write a movie, write it. Film it. You don't need a large budget. We did screenshots on next to nothing. We have a project coming up. I'll talk about that in a minute. And it'll be done for next to nothing. If you want to put out a collection of your poetry, do it. I put out the Copperweek collection on a whim. I wanted to enter 1 story, maybe 2, into competition to see how it would fare. It did not get nominated. It did not become a finalist. So it didn't fare well. But I still did the thing in releasing the book. Sure, my last royalty check was like $3. So find the Copperweek collection on Amazon so that my next royalty check is $3.50. That'd be great. Also, I'm still trying to get to 100 copies sold. So that'd just be a really cool. That'd be really cool, just to get to 100 copies sold. But do the things, man. This what I'm doing right now, this could be your thing. Do it. Just do the thing. It's the cost of a camera, and honestly, my laptop came with one. I just like this one better. Do the things. Write the books. Record the song. There are so many things that you can do on your own now. You can be an independent author. You can be an independent songwriter. You can be an independent filmmaker. You can do all of these things on your own. And if you think you need all this fancy equipment, you don't. Everyone talks about the movie Unsane. And the thing about Unsane is that Unsane is the movie that was filmed completely on an iPhone. Because it was. And most of you people already have iPhones. So do the things. There are plenty of programs out there. There's all kinds of technology. People are doing this stuff in their basements. They're uploading their brand new singles onto Spotify. Do the things. All of the things. All of them. Which is what I want to do. That's how I'm segueing into the other thing. Potentially, my next book project and the next movie project. So, the next movie project is Companion. It's going to be the companion piece in the same universe as Screenshots. The character Faith reprises her role here in this next movie. Good morning, Libby. It's good to see you. I'm glad to see you, Libby. I'm going to have to catch up with you at some point. It's been way too long. But yeah, Companion is the next film project. I've just sent the rewrites of the script to the director, waiting to hear back from him. And once that is agreed upon and kosher, then everything jumps into pre-production, and we're gonna make another movie. And I'm really excited about this one. If this gets off the ground, if Companion turns out the way we feel it will definitely be. It'll definitely be a great. I don't want to talk about too much. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm really excited for this project. I love all the people who are involved in this project as of now. There's going to be some more people, and I think that the people we have lined up, if they end up doing the movie, it can't go wrong. It cannot go wrong. It's going to be a good time. So keep your eye out for more updates on Companion. It's going to be a damn good time. Next book project. I don't know for certain, but I think this might be it. And most of you have no idea what this binder is for. This is Such Is Life. The story behind this. In 2018, I was dealing with a lot of depression. And I didn't know what to do about that depression. I feel like 2018 is too recent. It may have been sooner than that. I can't tell. But I think it was 2018. And I decided that the only thing that was really going to help me through was the one thing that's always been there for me. That was writing. Writing has always been there for me since I was like 8 or 9, and so I picked up the pen, metaphorically, and I started writing what is now known as Such Is Life Episode 1. I knew it was going to be episodic, but I didn't know what it was going to be called. It didn't have a title. It was literally just called Episode 1. And in having a conversation with a random guy in the gas station, we were talking about how mundane the day was. He was like, such is life. And I said, yeah, such is life. It's a term that we use all the time. It just kind of dismisses the mundaneness of the day, of the time. And that's kind of the gig of the story. It follows this guy named Zach, and he's the only normal one in his town of Kingston. Everyone else is just kind of zany in their own little zany, quirky way. Right now, the story has 8 parts. 8 parts. The story has 8 parts, and if I'm being completely honest with you, right now they're all available on DejuanLHearn.com. All of them. All of them. So if you want to read Such Is Life, you can. Just go to DejuanLHearn.com, find the writing tab, and go to the stories, and you'll see it. It's right there. And they're all separated by Roman numerals. You just click on the number and you'll read them. Just read them 1 through 8. I'm proud of them. Now, obviously, the next question is, if you had them all available, why would you make a book? Because I want to rewrite it. So I want to write all 8 episodes in a slightly more cohesive manner. That's the idea. So to do that, I'm going to have to go back through this whole thing and read it and figure out how to more cohesively put the story together. Make sure the timeline is more clear. And then, of course, it's been a while since I've touched that project, and there are still some unanswered questions that I need to figure out. It's the downside to writing pants instead of, plotting. As this story was, the series was written as a writing experiment, in a sense. I had a general idea of how I wanted things to go with this project, but around episode 3, the way the story was going didn't line up with my plan. So I just followed it, trusting the characters in a sense. So in trusting the characters, the story went in a wholly different direction than I planned it to. And the only downside to that is, because I didn't plan it to go this way, I don't know where it is or where it's going. It's kind of like if you mapped out your entire route on vacation, but now you can't take the right course, you have to take the left course. Sure, you just follow that road all the way out, but that road doesn't connect to this road, and you didn't plan for this road. So now you just kind of have to follow the road and see where it goes. And that's what I'm doing. So because of that, I don't have a lot of the answers that if you get yourself to part 8, don't ask me, well, where is she? Who's that in the background? What happened? I don't know. Don't ask me what happened to Venus. Ask Venus. She'll know before I do. But it's really, really fun. I got into listening to Rocky Horror Picture Show, the soundtrack, yesterday. And it reminded me that there's a character named Janet. I love it. There's a character named Janet, and the only reason why that character's name is Janet, or that she's a character at all, is because of the song Damn It, Janet. And the series has some spontaneous characters like that. But it's fun because you don't plan it, and it is what it is. So yeah, that covers most everything, I think. Mania, my health, I'm okay. I'm okay for now. Future movie project, future book project. I think everyone's asleep now, so now everyone gets a good nap because I bored everyone to tears. I swear I'm slightly more interesting than this on Sokka and the Moon. I promise I am. It's just that this is just updating people, and also realistically, it's allowing my second steak to come to room temperature so I can cook it for breakfast. That's the other reason for this live. So my breakfast can be ready to cook. Steak and eggs. Why not, right? So I think that's it. I think that's all I really had to say. I will probably have more lives, probably more interesting than this. Let's hope. Dear God. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to announce that, like, I'm okay, I'm alive, and to remind everyone else to do the things, because we don't know how long we got. So do the things now when you know you have time for it. Such is life. Do the things. And that's all in this. Be good to each other. Love everybody. Respect everybody. Do the things. Thanks for joining me.